Very interesting error and a very important concept related to that error. If you have ever used useEffect hook in the React application, you might have noticed this error where if you specify an empty array, it tells you that React hook useEffect has missing dependencies, and it suggests that you should put some kind of dependency into this array. Now, you might not want to put anything into this array if you want this hook to run only once in the app when the React component renders. I found this article is very interesting. It explains it very well. So, what is the problem? The problem is that this error is not really a React error. It's an error related to ESLint, right? And it has got a rule called React Hooks exhaustive depths rule, which suggests that it should look for dependencies when you use effect hook, right? And if you have this empty array in your use effect hook, it will give you that error. It suggests there are three ways you can fix it. The first way is to specify dependencies. The second way is to specify the objects or functions that you want to use as dependencies. And the third solution is to entirely disable the ESLint rule that checks for this error. Now, the first example it gives is this one here. In this component, it's a simple component. It will use on click method. You increment the count and it will show you how many times you have clicked the button, right? And it has a dependency. Dependency is the count state variable. On every change, the component will re-render and you will see the updated count value here. Right, so that's the first solution. The second solution is you use, so if you have multiple variables, you can use state variables, you can use it like that, comma separated array. Now, when you're using objects and functions with this effect, there is a very common problem that developers run into, and that problem is infinite loop of re-render. So what I mean by that is, look at this object here. When this object is created, right, a new reference is created in memory, and the value of new user changes even though the inside object is identical, because every time this line is executed, a new object is created in memory and its reference is stored into new user. Now, if you look at useEffect, it has a dependency of that same reference. Now, if you come from top to bottom, when this object is created, the value of new user is changed. When the value is changed, it will run the useEffect hook, and when the useEffect hook runs, it will set the state value. State variable changes, it causes a re-render from the top. Again, an object is created, the reference is changed. When the reference is changed, it causes the useEffect to execute again, and then set user changes the state. When the state changes, it re-renders, and this goes on forever. The solution to that is to use useMemo hook. useMemo hook, what it does is, it basically so a simple solution is to move the object inside the useEffect hook so it doesn't re-render it every time, and remove the dependency. And the second solution is to use useMemo hook. What it does is basically caches this new user. Now, when you use useMemo, it returns you the same reference and same object, and the new user value here doesn't change, and useEffect will run only when actually new user value changes, right? So this will avoid your infinite re-render loop. And third And simple solution is to disable the ESLint rule that checks for that error. That's it, folks. Thank you.